So the final exchange of Israeli captives for Palestinian prisoners under phase one of the Gaza ceasefire deal is now underway. After hours of delay, Israel has released the remaining Palestinian prisoners. Earlier, Hamas handed over bodies of 4 captives, while Israel released nearly 600 Palestinians. Women and youths have now arrived at the European hospital in Khan Younis in southern Gaza. Israel delayed the release of more than 40 Palestinian women and youths. The process delayed, of course, while forensic tests were carried out on the captives' bodies. Earlier, families were reunited with their loved ones in Gaza and in the occupied West Bank. Among those who returned home were the Palestinians that Israel refused to release last week, and many of the released prisoners showed signs of torture and abuse.
I'm very glad to be back with my family, but at the same time, I'm not happy. I saw my daughters and I didn't recognize them. They don't recognize me either. We faced torture and beatings in prison. I myself was beaten as well.
Meanwhile, Israel says the remains of 4 captives Hamas handed over on Wednesday night have now been identified. Their bodies were examined at Tel Aviv's National Center of Forensic Medicine. We've got Nora Day following developments in Israel from Jordan's capital of Amman. But first, let's cross to Tareq Azzoum, who's in Khan Younis in southern Gaza. So, Tareq, we've been waiting some hours for this to take place. Finally, it's happened. It's more than 40 women and children released from Israeli prison and have been arriving in the last half hour.
Yeah, that's completely right. The entire atmosphere is thick with scenes of jubilation and different tears in the faces of the mothers, parents, children who came today to see their loved ones being released from the Israeli detention camps and centers. Now, the scene at the European hospital is incredibly very overwhelming, and we have seen that the vast majority of those who were released today were people who are under the age of 19, and they have been looking very visibly weak, and they have been absolutely suffering from different psychological torment. And in order to understand better how those Palestinian released prisoners have been enduring, I'm joined right now by Mohammed Abu Amsha. He is one of the Palestinian released prisoners who has been released today from Israeli jails. Alhamdulillah ala salamtak Muhammad. خبرنا عن ظروف اعتقالك من وين تم اعتقالك؟
Circumstances of your detention, from where have you been detained? The circumstances in the Israeli prisons. I was detained from Beit Hanun on the 28th of December. They took us to Israeli prisons. I don't know the names of these prisons, and we were put in hard situation. We got only 1 meal per day. The food was very bad. We can take a shower once every month. They are beating us. They used to beat us. They used to humiliate us and insult us. And we have a lot of suffering. The sick people got no medical treatment, a lot of skin diseases in the prisons, and we didn't change our clothes since the first day of detention. I have seen some traces on your nose. How about this? They moved us from a place to another place, and they used to beat us with iron bars, and they beat our legs and our hands, and I had this injury from there. And what is your feeling now between your loved ones and being back to Gaza? Thank Allah Almighty. I thank Allah Almighty for everything. I'm back to my family, to my life. We were dreaming of death over there. We want to die over there in Israel, but thank God we are here today. Welcome back, Muhammad.
He has been released today from Israeli jails, and he will be reunited with his loved ones. And he comes from one of the border towns in northern part of Gaza that has been widely destroyed during the Israeli initial months of military operations in Gaza. Now he will return to a shattered landscape that lack all sorts of basic necessities, and he will return back to find more of his beloved ones got killed killed, and many of his friends have been enduring unimaginable and extreme hardships during the past 16 months of war.
Yeah, and Tareq, there is that chilling consideration about all this, isn't there? Because there is no guarantee that when these people were arrested, the family members and friends and people they know and love that they left behind when they were arrested, they've got no idea if they're still alive or not.
Well, there have been many Palestinians who have been left missing without further information about the fate, many including journalists, doctors, medical teams, alongside also with ordinary civilians in the Israeli detention centers. There have been no significant information being shared to the ICRC or any humanitarian organization about the fate, which could be a sign that we are expecting that the numbers and the death toll of Palestinians might rise in light of the absence of these reports and the plenty of information about the destiny of those Palestinians. Many families have been gone missing. Many families are waiting for any information about their loved ones, and it could be also a sign on the level of brutality Palestinians have been enduring. And basically, also for those who have been released today, they have been absolutely held without any charge by the Israeli occupation forces. As we have been hearing from Muhammad, only they have been receiving a very harsh mistreatment, isolation, starvation, and an unprecedented level of humiliation that had degraded their humanity and forced them to endure unimaginable humanitarian circumstances that had absolutely left deep scars in the mindsets and the hearts and in the bodies forever. But at the moment, there has been more concentration now for celebration and more scenes of jubilation to take place as they will be reunited with their families in their shattered neighborhoods and in areas that they used to have very beautiful memories. And as also the holy month of Ramadan is nearing, the situation for them will absolutely be incredibly amazing, despite all sorts of loss and grief that they have endured and the unimaginable humanitarian conditions that they witnessed in Israeli jails.
All right, Tareq, thanks very much indeed. Tareq Azzoum, reporting there from Khan Younis in southern Gaza, is the emotional scenes there as the Palestinian prisoners, the final Palestinian prisoners that are being released in phase 1, come home and are reunited with family and friends.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.